Hello, I'm Dr. Leon Stutzman, aka Doc, with another one of these little videos designed to help you to get through these strange days in which we find ourselves, and these yet remain strange days indeed. I'm talking this week about believing with your heart, specifically how to believe with your heart. And I'm going to pick up where I left off on Monday with lean not to your own understanding. God spoke a word to David. He said, "You're my son. This day I have begotten thee." And David said, "I'm going to declare that decree." Now, how could he declare a decree that was so far out theologically for his time and their understanding, his place and his position? And not to mention that David had a lot of issues himself, a lot of personal issues, a lot of practical issues. So how could he declare that decree, "Thou art my son, this day I begotten thee"? He wasn't looking at himself, and he wasn't looking at his circumstances. He was not leaning, I want you to catch this, to his own understanding. The Bible tells us, Proverbs 3:5, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths." Will he direct your path? He will, if you're not leaning to your own understanding. 17 years old, I had opportunity to go on the road to become an evangelist. That was my heart's desire. It was a supernatural moment in my life. But in order to go on the road, I had to give up my brand new pickup truck, leave the family business that I was heir apparent to. I left my nice cozy bedroom. I was told not to come back until I was a success, and probably don't come back then. My father was not in agreement with me going out on the road as an evangelist. We held 2 revivals, one in Okmulgee, Oklahoma, one in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the young evangelist I was traveling with, who booked all the meetings, decided that God had called him to hang sheetrock in Dallas, Texas. And he left me stranded in Dallas, staying in a little boarding house, $10 a week. I prayed it in every week. Deodorant, razor blades, prayed that in too. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. I could have gotten discouraged. I could have felt defeated, but I didn't. I was having a blast. I was doing what God called me to do. I was going to be an evangelist, and I made up my mind that I would be a success. If that had not happened, I wouldn't be where I am today. Lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. When I was 25 years old, I was quite successful as an evangelist, traveling the nation, booked up a year in advance, preaching in some of the biggest churches in America, making quite a sum of money for those days. Successful. God said, "Go to Lima." Everyone said, "Why Lima?" In fact, our friends in ministry, were betting among themselves as to how long we'd stay in Lima. They all said, "He's not a pastor, he's an evangelist. He's going to get tired of dealing with people. He'll be back on the road." One said 3 months, one said 6 months, one said 9 months. 10 years later, we had the 3rd largest church in the city, and we had done quite well. Why? Because if you trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not to your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, he will direct your paths. 10.5 years later, God spoke to us to come to Dayton, Ohio. And everyone said, "You got a good thing going in Lima. Why are you going to Dayton, Ohio?" Because God said so. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. It's been over 32 years now, and I have to say it's worked out pretty well. In fact, a friend of ours in ministry took my wife aside a few years ago and said, "Do you all ever regret leaving that big church in Lima to come to Dayton, Ohio?" Well, I have to tell you, at this point, the church in Dayton is larger than the church in Lima. Why? Because, well, if you trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not to your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, he will direct your paths. What am I saying to you? Lean not to your own understanding. Don't try to figure it out. Don't be paralyzed with your analysis, because we have a generation of people that are living in paralysis by analysis. Choose to believe God. We're not of those that draw back in unbelief, but we're those that believe to the saving of the soul. Exercise your faith. Believe for the benefits, and you'll see the benefits manifest in your life. This Sunday at Aspire Church, I have a miracle message. I make no apologies for saying this, I'm an old-time Holy Ghost miracle man. I'm not old, but I am an old-time Holy Ghost miracle man. That's my roots, the Voice of Healing Revival. I've seen too many miracles to doubt God now. And this Sunday, to close this series, The Benefits of Believing, I'm going to be preaching one of my famous miracle messages, and I'm expecting, knowing that there's no time, there's no space, there's no distance with God, I'm expecting God to touch you wherever and however you connect with this service. Catch it live on the live stream at aspirechurch.tv. Catch it on Facebook at Aspire Church TV. That's Facebook, Aspire Church TV. live stream at AspireChurch.tv. Sunday morning, 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. It's going to be powerful. I'll be back Friday to conclude this week's series of little videos. I'll see you Sunday. I'm Dr. Leon Stutzman, a.k.a. Doc. Until then, God